Today I'd like to discuss outbound tickets and the information that goes on to outbound tickets. So what we'll do is we'll get into the outbound as you see in front of you. We'll examine or change shipment, and we're going to go to this ticket number 77892 just for demonstration purposes. All right, what we see now is sort of two sides of a ticket. The left part, as you see over here in the upper left half of the screen, has to do with when the grain leaves your facility, whereas most of what's on the right side has to do with when the grain is received at the destination facility. So let's work our way now through these various fields. So the first field we have here is the date you're shipping it. The next field is the grain code. What grain are we shipping? The origin elevator is however you designate the elevator from which you are shipping the grain. You'll want to use the same origin elevator code here that you used on the inbound tickets, certainly if you're trying to keep up with what's in an individual elevator or what's in an individual bin. As you see here, we've left the bin empty because we're not using that, but if you were trying to keep up with how much is in bins, obviously you'd want to be saying which bin you were shipping this from. The driver is the truck driver, some initials for the truck driver, some kind of designation for the truck driver. The agent is, if you have an agent, what's the agent, some kind of designation for the agent. And then we get to the ticket number. So this would be your scale ticket number where you weighed this particular load that was being shipped out. This is a very large. This field is much larger than typical ticket fields in order to be able to accommodate rail car numbers if you choose to use those instead of ticket numbers. Next field is how many pounds were on the scale ticket that you shipped out, and then the next field is the anticipated price. As you enter the anticipated price in blue just to the right of that, we extend the price times the number of units of the commodity that you're shipping, in this case wheat, bushels. We'd determine how many bushels are in the 59,980 and extend that times 355 per bushel, coming up with the total anticipated price that we're expecting out of this ticket. The next three fields all have to do with calculating freight cost, and if you're not interested in calculating freight cost, you can certainly leave these fields empty, and we're just more than happy to accommodate that. But if you are utilizing them, you do need to understand that this field, the freight per hundredweight, is always expressed in hundredweight, not in units of the commodity, but in hundredweight. The percentage adjustment is simply a percentage that we will add over and above the freight rate itself, and the final item of freight calculations is a dollar adjustment. This is where you would put in if you were, for instance, not calculating by hundredweight or something like that. Rather, you were simply paying a flat rate per load. You could put the rate per load in here as the dollar adjustment, and that would then show up as the freight cost. The next item is shipment type, and in almost all instances, you're going to want to use cash grain. That simply means that you're sending grain to to some facility and that they are buying it. If, on the other hand, you are shipping some open stored grain to a facility to have them continue to hold it for you, that's what terminal storage is. Terminal storage is shipping out grain that is not yours, but for which you have a liability for, and then you're asking the terminal to hold that grain for you till such time as you tell them how to dispose of it. The next field says, is the freight been paid on this yet? And that can be used if you want to use it to take care of pay-in drivers or agents, whatever. You can leave it yes or no depending on how you want to utilize it. The destination elevator would be the last thing you'd fill in when it left your facility. What elevator is it going to? What designation did you give that elevator to where it's going? In this instance, FTW. and so forth. Now then, the remainder of the fields from the contract down, generally you will not be able to determine until such time as you get a ticket back or information back from the facility to which you ship the grain. At that time, they will tell you what contract number they applied it to. They'll give you their ticket number and how much it weighed, indicate to you how much they're docking it, the price they're going to pay you, and then the total payment you'll enter there if they're actually going to get you paid right then. You enter in the total payment, you enter the date of the payment, and the payment check number. The bottom of the screen in blue and red, we're trying to give you an indication of differences between what's shipped and what's received. You see that the received in this instance is a little bit more. It's actually 10 pounds more, or just a fraction of a bushel more. You see that we've got 300 pounds of dockage that they assess to us. That's based on the 0.5%. And the total docking discount amounted to $68.79, which is the difference between what we might have gotten had there not been any docking or discounts, and what we thought we were going to get. And then anticipated less actual is the difference between the anticipated dollars that we expected to receive when we shipped it based on what we actually received. And if you do utilize this for total freight, you'll see the total freight cost saved down there at the bottom. Again, the left half and the destination elevator are typically only filled in when it leaves your facility. The remainder of it's filled in at a later time. Now then, should the terminal take one of your loads and decide that it ought to be assessed against different contracts, they'll give you that information when you get it back. And what you may have to do is you may have to wind up actually splitting this ticket and creating two tickets out of it, certainly if they're going to utilize the load to satisfy different parts of contracts, different contracts. That's a little bit about what goes on with the outbound grain tickets. Hope that this has been informative to you. Thank you.